Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you as always for stopping by. I'm grateful. You can of course catch us at 8 to 9 p.m. on Metropole TV, which is the first 24-hour business news channel here in Kenya and East Africa, and I must say I'm enjoying that as well. Let's move on to Sub-Saharan Africa. Malawi's Mutharika narrowly wins the presidential election with 38.57% of the vote. Some people have called this the Tipex election. On Saturday, a court granted the opposition an injunction after the Electoral Commission received 147 cases of irregularities, including results sheets with sections blotted out or altered with correction fluid. Zaid Rad, who was the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, says this about Ethiopia: the country has changed for the better. They have a gifted prime minister, but we're now seeing ethnic tensions violently emerge. We saw the same situation unfold in Myanmar. We need to be vigilant. I wrote about this mercurial prime minister in July 2018 when I called him a Virillian and a Gladwellian figure. And I said, to create one contagious movement, you have to create many small movements first. Malcolm Gladwell, look at the world around you. It may seem like an immovable, implacable place. It is not. With the slightest push in just the right place, it can be tipped. Sudan opposition pushes ahead with two-day strike from Tuesday. Said on Monday that it would push ahead with a general two-day strike starting on Tuesday in an escalation of tensions with the ruling Transitional Military Council over the move to democracy. They have, of course, been lobbying in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, in Abu Dhabi, and in South Sudan in the last few days. Wagdi Saleh, a representative of a coalition within the DFCF, told a news conference called by the alliance that the TMC had demanded a two-thirds majority of 8-3 on the Sovereign Council that will lead the country. That's a demand, a maximalist demand that's never going to be fulfilled. By God, their slogans cheated us. I swear we were honest with them 100%, Hemedti said at a dinner with police. That's why, by God Almighty, we will not hand this country except to safe hands, he said. He, of course, was the man at the forefront of the Janjaweed reaction under Bashir in Darfur. Hemedti said on Monday, these people's goal is for us to hand over to them and to return to our barracks. Genius, isn't he? What we're watching across this continent, whether it's Gabon, Sudan or Congo, is a kind of tipping point moment, I told Al Jazeera in January, and nothing has changed my mind. And Sudan really epitomizes that tipping point moment. Zimbabwe, on Monday, the local RTGS dollar was trading at 5 to the dollar compared to 5.5 on Friday. On the black market, the unit was weaker at 7.5 versus 7 on Friday. The black market rate is obviously the correct one. Guva Matanga, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Finance, says that $500 million out of last year's $4.3 billion of export earnings was still being kept offshore. There is $1.7 billion that should be available in this economy to pay for the pharmaceuticals, to pay for the fuel, and all the requirements we need as an economy, he said. Some, speaking on condition of anonymity, said they were reluctant to sell their money on the official market, where traders say the central bank is influencing the exchange rate. And also a lot of them feel that if they go and convert their money, they'll never get it back when they need hard currency again. 21st of January, I said Zimbabwe is at a tipping point moment. I said the mind game that ZANU-PF had played on its citizens has evaporated in a puff of smoke, and that there is definitely a correlation between high inflation and revolutionary conditions, and Zimbabwe is a classic example. I came across this quote in the BBC: Al-Shabaab are like jinns, spirits. They are everywhere, said one young man. A jinn or jinn are supernatural creatures in Islamic mythology. The Quran says that the jinn are made of a smokeless and scorching fire but are also physical in nature, being able to interfere physically with people and objects, and likewise to be acted upon. They are usually invisible to humans, but humans do appear clearly to jinn, as they can possess them. Jinn have the power to travel large distances at extreme speeds and are thought to live in remote areas, mountains, seas, trees, and the air, in their own communities. Like humans, jinn will also be judged on the Day of Judgment and will be sent to paradise or hell according to their deeds. Airtel Africa plans London share sale to reduce debt. The Africa unit of Bharti Airtel plans an IPO in London to help reduce debt, looking to sell 25%, also considering a listing in Nigeria. Could raise about $1 billion, valuing the business at $4 billion. They've already raised $1.25 billion last year from Temasek and SoftBank, giving it an equity value of $4.4 billion. Business operations in 14 African markets: Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, Ghana. Bharti Airtel, backed by billionaire Sunil Mittal, has spent heavily to defend its position in India against disruptive upstart Reliance Jio Infocom Limited. Tanzania targets big increase in mineral revenue, not likely. Intends to collect $205.5 million from minerals in 2019-2020. Boost production and exports, open new mineral trading centers, curb smuggling, and ensure closer supervision of the industry. The biggest problem for Tanzania in this space is that there is no investor who's going to be able to pass such an investment decision across their board in the current circumstances. South African all shares up 3.32% year to date. Dollar rand 14.5. As I said, it's at the bleeding edge of this trade war. Egyptian pound 16.8499. Egyptian stock market up 7.09%. Nigerian all share down 3.92%. Ghana stock exchange down 2.21%. The top brands in Africa, according to the 2017-2018 survey by Brand Africa: Nike, top of the heap. Eliud, of course, runs in Nike shoes. Colin Kaepernick also boosted Nike's brand tremendously. Second, Samsung. Third, Adidas. Fourth, Coca-Cola. Sixth, MTN. Eighth, Toyota. 9, Gucci. That's interesting. 17, Safaricom, Vodacom, M-Pesa. 26, Huawei. Have a look at the list.